Who's the greatest boxer of all time? Muhammad Ali? Tyson? What about the world's fastest sprinter? Usain Bolt. Easy answer, right? Now who's second best? Wait, no, don't Google that. Unless you're deep into these fields, you probably have no clue. And that's exactly the point. We praise the one who stands at the pinnacle, the GOAT, the icon. We're obsessed with the strongest. For such a long time, we've been taught to chase the top spot, to glorify winning as if anything less is failure. But what if that mindset is keeping you stuck in fear, burnout, and disappointment? There's a quiet tragedy, the strange kind of beauty, in being second. The runner-up, the unsung genius, the one who gave everything and still didn't reach the pinnacle. Yet they keep moving forward. And this isn't just a story about competition, it's a story about life. In What Life Could Mean to You, Alfred Adler delves into the profound lessons hidden in striving without winning, the strength of those who rise every day not for recognition, but for something deeper. Today, we're exploring what it means to live in the shadow of the best, and why being second may be the key to discovering your truest form of greatness. Let's dive in. The truth is, the obsession with being perfect often stems from insecurity, a desperate attempt to prove your worth. But life doesn't reward perfection. It rewards those who are brave enough to show up imperfectly and keep growing no matter the setbacks. Think about how many times you've held yourself back because you feared falling short. The job you didn't apply for, the conversation you avoided, the goal you abandoned because you felt you weren't ready to be the best. But here's the thing, the beauty of being the second strongest lies in knowing you don't have to be flawless to make progress, you just have to keep moving forward. Alfred Adler, one of the greatest minds in psychology, understood this better than anyone. He believed that perfectionism is just fear in disguise, a fear of judgment and failure. And ironically, this pursuit of superiority is exactly what can make you feel weaker. To explain this, Adler told us a powerful truth. Our flaws and limitations aren't enemies, they're teachers. The more we run from them, the stronger they grow. But when we confront them head-on and accept our imperfections, those flaws lose their power. Consider this, in a boxing match, the second strongest fighter may not have the knockout punch, but they possess something the champion doesn't, the ability to adapt, to rise after defeat, and to find strength in their failures. This resilience is what makes them truly formidable. You may not always win first place, but that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're learning. It means you're building something that can't be taken from you. Courage, wisdom, and endurance. And then, perfection doesn't make you stronger, it makes you brittle. You become so afraid of breaking that you stop taking risks altogether. But the second strongest, they step into the ring knowing they might fall, but they rise again because they're not bound by the illusion of flawlessness. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be bad at something? When did you let yourself stumble and learn without punishing yourself for not being perfect? Adler believed that our deepest fear isn't being weak, it's being seen as weak. And that's where so many of us go wrong. We try to outshine, outperform, and outwork others to cover up the fear that we're not enough. But chasing that illusion of best leaves you burned out and empty. So here's the truth. Being the second strongest isn't about settling, it's about building something real, something that can last. Instead of fearing your flaws, imagine embracing them. Imagine redefining strength not as perfection but as perseverance. When you do that, you'll stop seeing setbacks as failures and start seeing them as stepping stones. Remember, success doesn't mean reaching the summit without struggle. It means daring to climb despite your doubts. Life isn't meant to be a flawless performance. It's a constant rehearsal where every mistake shapes you. The strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who rise again and again despite the bruises. Adler didn't just teach us to overcome inferiority, he taught us to reframe it. What if your imperfections aren't weaknesses, but proof that you're alive and evolving? What if you wore your flaws like badges of honor instead of burdens? Think about a tree that bends in the storm. The stiff, rigid trees snap, but the flexible ones, the imperfect ones, survive. That's what it means to be the second strongest. You don't crumble under pressure, you adapt and grow. So, stop chasing a life without flaws. Start building a life with meaning. Stop trying to impress everyone. Start trying to impress yourself by showing up, imperfect but determined, every single day. The world glorifies perfection, but true freedom is found in imperfection. Because the beauty of the second strongest is this: you don't need to be the best to live your best life. You just need the courage to be imperfect and the strength to keep climbing no matter how many times you slip. So, rise up, not to prove your worth, but to show yourself that you've always been worthy.